Hello everybody, it's Joe here, and welcome back to my F1 My Team Career Mode campaign. We resume at the Baku City circuit for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on the coast of the Caspian Sea. Just a reminder, this is a custom 16 race season, and the second round is right here, and we've got a sprint weekend to throw just a little something extra into the works. Also, we are now running our full-time F1 23 Season 1 livery. And I'll be honest, I like this one much better than I liked the first one. That just looked a bit messy. But anyway, it's time to qualify. And we went reasonably well in Bahrain, so it stands to reason that we should do reasonably well here. I'm on my first lap and I'm struggling to get to grips with the circuit, though Wasser was going pretty quickly there. Whoa! Bit of a slide out of the right-hander there. And at the speed you're going in that corner, that was a full-on heart-in-mouth moment. I'm always testing the limits of the circuit. Unfortunately, that first lap, that just wasn't any good. Russell getting a good toe behind us and getting the fastest time. We did do a second lap, and it's only good enough for P20, so I'm having to push hard on my third lap, and I am up. But that's until I clip the inside wall, and oh my goodness me, that is a horrific accident. Oh my goodness me, I've been sliding through that corner way too many times, and that time the corner bit back, I just gently brushed that inside wall, and it put me into the wall on the outside, and that's actually quite a nasty accident. Now, it's just, again, here it is slowed down for you. Just such a silly little incident, clipping that inside wall, and it just unbalances me and puts me straight into the wall on the outside. That is a nasty crash, and we are out of qualifying, which means at best we will be starting from P20. A disappointing start to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend, and not the start to the weekend that we would want. Out at Q1, and I'm just looking at all my podium pass stuff at this stage. We haven't actually got the quests yet because obviously I'm playing on the deluxe version of the game, and the podium pass rewards unlock when the standard version of the game releases. I would assume so anyway. But there we are, P20, and yeah, we've got it all to do through the course of the weekend.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Bottas, Albon, Joe, Magnussen, Sonoda, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Sparkles, De Vries, Sparkles. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Anthony Davidson will be sharing his insight alongside me once again today. What should we be looking out for, Ant? Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc.
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? One more thing to consider is the strategy element. How far can the drivers push these tyres, and who's going to blink first for fresh rubber? It'll be interesting to see if the leaders have to compromise their plan to cover off the cars behind them.
Right, time for the sprint race. We have 9 laps ahead of us. Leclerc setting an amazing pole lap round here. It's lights out and away we go. Leclerc goes to cover Verstappen. Verstappen not really able to get past into turn 1. Leclerc leads. Verstappen second. Perez third. Hamilton and Sainz looks like they're sorting themselves out, as do Norris and what I think is Ocon. Norris trying to keep the inside line there, and Ocon going round the outside and getting the place. So Norris down to P8, Russell right behind him as well. George Russell actually having a look at Lando Norris, the former F2 rivals, going side by side into turn 3, but Lando holds the line and has the position. Right, let's switch to my POV now. We have 9 laps ahead of us. Lights out and away we go. I've made a really good getaway there. Hulkenberg, well, Tsunoda actually more so, standing still at the start, but he didn't really get swamped. And we've managed to get up to P17. We're still on the inside of Tsunoda because they all back up here just a little bit. So I might be able to take him, and I might be able to take Kevin Magnussen as well. And if I stay close enough to the jostling pack in front, we may even be able to pick up a position there. However, they have got away from us a little bit. But I'm going to stick to the inside line in case Albon gets backed up. He has got backed up. And we go to the outside. Albon on the inside now. Albon still holding the line. But we're going to get the better exit as we sweep round. A very gentle kiss of the barrier. But we managed to move up into P14. So we've gained 6 places off that start, and that is exactly the sort of forward momentum that we need. Leclerc leading at the end of lap 1, but Albon wanting that place back. I'm not inclined to give it to him. Obviously, many people will be asking the question, is the new super shootout format in the game? As of this point, it is not. Whether they'll add it later through DLC is another question. Right, we're now fighting off Alex Albon. We're on lap 5. We've been able to hold him off so far. The car's in front just pulling away, but Albon's gone down the inside, and then he's been able to come back and cover the line as he's got past us. So Albon getting P14 back, and now the rest of the race is going to be all about trying to keep back Magnussen and Tsunoda, because this is for grid position. So this is pretty critical. Right, here comes Max Verstappen on Charles Leclerc. The momentum that Red Bull has is just ridiculous. Leclerc not really able to offer much in the way of defence. And look at this is Sainz and Hamilton. It's cracking off between them as well. And Sainz trying to go for P4 on the 7-time world champion. Round the outside, Sainz goes here. Lewis just not with the momentum. And I think for now, Carlos Sainz has taken 4th place. And I think he was able to keep hold of it. Right, we now have Magnussen on our tail. And Magnussen's going to try and get through on the right here. Magnussen is getting through on the right here. And Magnussen getting that position. We've tagged his rear wheel. We nearly lose it there. Now we've got Tsunoda passing us. Tsunoda moves across on us. We tag his wheel and very nearly lose the car on the straight. And I had to jam on the brakes because I felt like if I didn't, if I'd kept my foot in it, the car would have gone completely round and that would have caused a nasty accident. So we lose 4 places on the straight there. And that is just a nightmarish way for our sprint to go so far. And as it turns out, we're gaining 1 place on the grid, but we're going to try and make it 2 now because we bang wheels with Nico Hulkenberg and retake P18. So we were able to regain 1 of the places. We're trying to give ourselves a better grid position for the race, but Hulkenberg now coming back on me. And again, I'm not really able to offer that much in the way of defence. And Hulkenberg up into P18, we're down to P19. So far a bit of a grim start to the weekend for us. Here comes Sergio Perez, meanwhile, on Charles Leclerc. And, well, he made that Ferrari look like a shopping trolley by comparison. Up into P2 goes Sergio Perez. And Max Verstappen still leading the way by a couple of seconds. He has gone on to win this sprint race, but we're desperately clinging on to P19 because Logan Sargent is trying to get past us. Right at the final stage of the race, I had a DRS issue, which meant that the DRS flap stayed open on the last lap, so trying to keep the car pointing in the right direction through that left-right with a rear wing open, that was terrifying, but we were able to retain P19 and we've got it all to do in the race. It's going to be a long, stressful race, but Max Verstappen is your sprint race winner.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. With the sprint wrapped up, we now... And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku, and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today. So our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully out of the barriers. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Joe, Hulkenberg, Sparkles, Sargent, De Vries, Iwasa, De Vries. And now it's time to head down to the track. And joining me once again in the commentary box today is, of course, former World Endurance Champion Anthony Davidson. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? Besides that, of course, any kind of Turn 1 incident could completely turn the race on its head. Let's keep our fingers crossed everyone can get through in one piece.
Here we go then, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, 26 laps, begins now, and Verstappen gets away very nicely, goes to cover Perez. Perez just having a cheeky look up the inside there, but that'll amount to nothing as Verstappen sweeps around the outside. Perez in second, Sainz moving up to third, Hamilton and Leclerc fourth and fifth, and George Russell having a little look at Fernando Alonso. Also spot my editing fail there, but we're now on the grid. We got 5 red lights, and it's go for us after they left the lights on for quite a while seemingly, and we've made a relatively good stop. We got blocked off by Tsunoda there. I'm trying to just create some room down the inside, but we kiss the inside barrier. We give Zhou Guanyu a little nudge, but the car is still fine, thankfully, and I'm just trying to find a way to thread through. We are starting this race on the hard tyres due to the threat of rain later on in this race, so I'm going to try and run as long as I can and try and move up the field that way. So we're playing the long game here, but there wasn't much long game about that dive bomb on Bottas, but we do move up into P14, and we're now getting ready to look at Oscar Piastri if we can in the McLaren. He's also on the hard tyres. My thinking is if we can run until the rain, there might be points to gain from doing it. So given my grid position, I had nothing to lose by attempting that strategy. Also, it's Baku. We could see red flags around here. We could see anything. As I make a move down the inside of Oscar Piastri while the field's backed up, and we have moved up into P13. Obviously, red flags being a feature of F1 23, so I'm just accounting for the chance of that. Right, the two Ferraris are now going wheel to wheel. Sainz and Leclerc battling it out over fourth. Charles Leclerc wants the place off of Carlos Sainz, and he has taken the place off of Carlos Sainz. Although Carlos getting ready to tuck in for another attack, and we've now got George Russell and Fernando Alonso going at it here, and George having to tuck in to the DRS, into the toe, of Fernando Alonso. And look at this, the two Ferraris I think are going wheel to wheel again. I think Sainz is having a look at Leclerc. Let's now cut back to that. Yep, we go round the outside, and Charles Leclerc from the outside retaining P4. Next lap, who's this? This is Fernando Alonso going after Carlos Sainz. Little bit of wheel banging there by the looks of it, but Alonso trying to force his way through. Sainz has the outside line. Alonso forced in quite tightly there, and I think that's going to help Sainz on the exit. And now George Russell is getting ready to see if he can have a look at this. Russell trying to go there. No, there's no room there, and he nearly loses it. Switching to the inside, and George Russell on the inside, Alonso on the outside, and Alonso just about holds the place. It's all cracking off here at Baku in these early stages. Meanwhile, we're trying to keep our position as well. Gasly and co are just about pulling away from us until they get just a little bit backed up in the castle section, and then we're able to gain a few tenths. But at the moment, my priority is trying to keep Tsunoda behind, and I feel like we kissed that inside barrier at the castle again, but gently enough to get away with it for now. Right, what's this we're watching? There's a yellow flag, and I think that's our teammate Iwasa dropping out of the race with an engine failure. It is Iwasa dropping out of the race. That is rotten luck for him. Meanwhile, Alonso and Sainz are at it again. These two fighting for honours in Spain, but Fernando Alonso, I think, this time getting it done, and Sainz having to tuck in behind for now. And where is George Russell in all of this? Because I think he's going to fancy a go. The answer is he is staying put. Right now, we're having an attack on Kevin Magnussen. We're going to go down the inside. We're going to bang wheels with Magnussen as I understeered just a little bit, but we're able to take P12 as I think an AI car has pitted. So now we're moving on up, moving forwards. And in fact, no, an AI car didn't pit. We were already in 13th. I forgot I'd passed Piastri earlier on. But the AI cars are going to start pitting soon, so we're going to be able to take advantage, and Piastri knows that too. He's on our strategy. He's fighting me down the inside. Goes the McLaren driver. I give him the room. He gives me a tag, and we hold places for now. Piastri trying to get past, but just not able to do it there. Gasly and Ocon and co now have stretched away from us now that I am fighting Piastri a bit, and I'm starting to not like the feel of these tyres as much as once I did. And Piastri getting ready to attack again. Half a second behind on the straight. This straight goes on forever. He'll have overtake and DRS and a nice toe at his disposal, and that, well, I tried fighting that one off, but it was futile. So we're going to try and stick with Piastri for the rest of the lap. We have stuck with Piastri, and now we're going to pull the same on him. Look how much the slipstream really helps on this game. We dive down the inside of turn 1, and we go very deep into the corner, but we're just able to keep it. Piastri slips back through, doing the up and under. So now we're going to have to go round the outside here. Oh, we made contact with him there as Piastri kind of leans on us a little bit. And now we're back down behind him. And I'm going to try and use the DRS and use the toe to try and get alongside him again. We are alongside him again, and we're now back past him again. This is a good battle between myself and Piastri. Former teammate on F122, of course. Piastri, though, coming back at me down the straight next time round. And this time, I have no resistance to offer. And with my tyres just starting to feel a little past their best, there is little we can do. We're going to try and go around the outside here. We've got the move back done again. Piastri holding on to the position. We're now tucking back into that slipstream. Piastri going defensive. We're alongside yet again, and we're going to try and sweep round the McLaren. We have swept round the McLaren, but Carlos Sainz, who's made a pit stop, is also having a look at coming through, and Sainz getting past Piastri. These tyres are screaming at me more and more that they are done as more and more AI cars pit. We've got Stroll in the pits in front of us now, and I'm praying this rain hurries up. It does look like it's getting a little bit darker, but it's not doing it quick enough. We need the rain to be imminent, and it's just not coming. Meanwhile, Sainz and Piastri are right behind me, just reminding me that they are there. Here comes Carlos Sainz down the straight. He's going to the inside. We're going to try and stick to the outside, using what little grip I have left. And we managed to hold on to the position, and we are ruining the days of Carlos Sainz and George Russell, especially with Carlos on the soft tyres. Here comes Sainz now. You can tell it's clouded over, but still no rain. Sainz has got through. Russell has got through. And we're trying to hold on. We're going to try and find a way back past. Switching to the inside last minute. No, that's gone wrong. Sainz was there. We make contact with him. And that is unfortunate. We're now trying to get the position back here. Can we go through? No, Sainz sweeps around the outside. And now we come to the straight. Can we find a way back past any of these guys? Or is that futile? I'm tucking into Sainz. I'm going to have a look down the inside last minute. But these tyres have got no more grip. I've missed the corner. And I've taken Carlos Sainz with me. And that has damaged his car as well as mine. I can only hold my hands up and take myself responsible for that. I am so sorry. It was a bit of a silly attempt, given that we literally had no grip left on the tyres. But that's no excuse. I am so sorry for that. Best we can do now is take on softs and just go, well, do whatever we can, and hopefully a red flag will come and save us. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc is taking P3 from Lewis Hamilton, and he has taken the place. I'm hoping for a red flag or a safety car to help me out here, but yeah, I had to pick because the tyres had no grip and I'd fallen to the back of the field anyway. I have one now attempt at preempting the weather as the rain does start falling, and I pit in for intermediate tyres at the end of lap 19. I'm hoping that's the right call. I'm hoping it can bring me maybe just a little bit closer to the guys in front. I don't know. Anything could happen. We could still get a safety car, so just carrying on going, I guess. We change onto the intermediate tyres and we're back out there after making a second pit stop. Meanwhile, it's really starting to rain now. Sergio Perez making the change for intermediates. Verstappen staying out there. And so too does Charles Leclerc. Ferrari strategy strikes again. And Verstappen staying out. And on lap 23, he stays out all the more. And, well, Leclerc actually making the decision that it didn't work out. And he loses out on a podium position to Hamilton, I believe. Perez does catch in the end Max Verstappen and pass him. We didn't see it though, because at this point, I just felt like the best approach was to save the engine, save the components, and just retire from the race. And that's what I did, just a couple of laps from the end. I'm sorry that it wasn't a better race, guys, but I hope you enjoyed all the other race action that was going on. All I can say is I'm sorry that it was just a disaster class of a weekend for me all round.
Right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
It's a Grand Prix win for the king of the streets here at Baku. Sergio Perez catching and passing Verstappen, who was limping round on those hard tyres in the wet. And Perez taking the right call to go on to intermediates. And as a result is your winner for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Hamilton taking P3 back from Leclerc after Leclerc stayed out a lap too long as well. So that really didn't work out for the Ferrari driver. Fernando Alonso getting 5th in the Aston Martin. And then it's Ocon, Russell, Gasly, Stroll and Alex Albon picking up a point for Williams. but wow, this is the first time since 2020 that I've done a career mode and not scored a point in the first 2 races. So I think that strategy really just, I had to concede at some point that it didn't work, and I feel like I shouldn't have fought Sainz as hard as I did. It really didn't work out for us at all in the end, but Verstappen is now leading the championship by 2 points. Perez coming after him. Hamilton third in the standings. Leclerc fourth, and Alonso moving up to 5th with that result, and Russell 6th. And then it's Ocon, Stroll, Sainz and Gasly rounding out your top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. We maintain P12 and Alex Albon... No, we dropped to P13, sorry, as Alex Albon takes over P12 and scores a point for Williams. So that's good going for Williams there. And they're not doing too shabby at the moment. And as you look at the constructor standings, Red Bull are just clear of the field. Mercedes are second, Ferrari, Aston Martin and Alpine rounding out the top 5. Yeah, that was just a disappointing weekend for us all round, but thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, hit subscribe for more content from me, and until the next time guys, TTFN, ta-ta for now.